Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris and I just got done watching Brightburn. And with Brightburn, the premise is pretty simple. Basically, what if Superman was evil? We follow a kid named Brandon Byers who literally has the exact same origin story as Superman, except when push comes to shove in society, he chooses to go in a different path. That's all pretty much say without giving spoilers to you guys. This is a spoiler-free review. Now, just like anybody out there, when seeing the first trailer or even hearing about the premise of this movie, you think, great idea for a horror film. I have no idea how they got past all the lawyers at DC, but I guess this does fall under parody, so they get away with it in that aspect. And for years as a comic book fan, I've been hammering for a rated R Superman movie to where they don't hold back on his strength, on his brutalness, just really seeing how he can tear apart people. And this is the perfect thing, because when you give a superhero, a good guy, the powers of Superman, it's kind of boring. But when you give a villain those powers, all but interesting to what they can do. And in fact, that is what you pretty much get with Brightburn. Everything you're kind of expecting happens in this movie. There's really no surprises in this movie or anything that'll give you a big shocking revelation. It's as simple as if a kid was bullied and had the powers of Superman, how would he react to those bullies? But to me, what brings this up a little is the cast they had in here. Because you had the father played by David Denham. You might know him as Roy from The Office. I don't think he would have turned out evil if Jim had raised this baby. Just saying. And of course, the mother played by Elizabeth Banks. Both of these parents interacting when their child starts going bad is really interesting to watch because they're on opposite ends of the spectrum, and seeing that dynamic of what do we do now? We raise this thing, we love it, but man, is it crazy? Is a lot of fun to watch on screen. And even the kid who plays Brandon, you get that little innocent feeling like if you're watching a young Clark Kent. And of course, when he gets bullied, you put yourself in his position and go, you know what? If I could smash these people's heads, I probably would too. So honestly, everything that they've created is believable in that aspect when you're immersed in the superhero world. But where it takes it to 100 is when you get to the gory kills. Every death in this movie I applaud. I'm smiling because as a horror fan, you appreciate it when these movies go rated R and they don't hold back on what they show you. I'm not gonna spoil any of the deaths in here, but I'll say every single one is a lot of fun to watch on screen. It's quite creative in what they do with it and some of the POV shots and how a superhero might want to take care of some villains while sweeping it under the rug. That's really the part of the movie that earned my respect and had me entertained throughout the whole thing. Because honestly, if it didn't have the great actors and character development with the parents and the relationship to Brandon and the great gory horror kills, the movie in the end is just pretty simple. You see where everything is going from a mile away. You can obviously tell when someone is bullying Brandon, and the things they say sentence-wise is how they're eventually gonna die. Things they set up in the first act you know are definitely gonna come into play towards the third act. There's really no major surprises. Everything goes beat by beat, and you can see how this thing's gonna end by 20 minutes into the movie. So although the premise is pretty fun, it is very far stretched to what you can do with it. But the movie, like I said, is definitely saved by the characters, the gore, and what they potentially could be setting up. So for Brightburn, I'm gonna give action 2 stars. It is pretty somber. The deaths in this movie don't last for long, and in between there is a lot of character development, which is needed for you to care about these people. Comedy in the film, I'm gonna give 1 star too. There was about 1 or 2 jokes in here, but most of the time, if you're a sicko like me, you're just kind of giggling at the deaths on screen because they're so spectacular. Drama in the film, I'm gonna give it 2 stars. It's a super simple premise. Literally Superman turning evil. That's as far as it goes. Horror in the film, I'm gonna applaud it with 3 stars because like I said, they don't hold back on the gore. There are some cringy things in here. Body parts popping, bones crunching. You might get squeamish, but it is so fun. And suspense in the film, I'm gonna give it 2 stars because like I said, you see everything coming a mile away, so there are no big surprises. Casual fans, I'm gonna give this a B+. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it an A-. And critically, I'm going to give it a B-. For Brightburn, I suggest you enjoy this in the theater. This is a really decent, fun horror film. You don't need to rush out to see it, but if you're at all a fan of superheroes and horror films, it's the perfect little blend for you. Also, be sure to stick around and subscribe because I will be posting an ending explained. There are some things in here that could lead to an amazing universe, so be sure to stick around for that and leave me your thoughts if you got around to seeing the movie. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.